Okay, I'm here at DTech now. I'm going to catch up with Dave and see what he's got in the shop today. There's actually quite a lot of work going on. Good morning, Dave.
Hey Nick, how you going, mate?
Good, good. Alrighty. Well, show me around the shop and let's see what you've got going on this.
See what we've got going on today.
Yeah, this month.
We've got Simon Evans 86. We're just doing a quick gearbox change on it for them, so I can go to the track today as well for testing for the final round this weekend.
Yep.
Just doing a.
Should we go in there and have a look?
Yeah.
And get out of the sun before we start cooking.
Nothing too exciting. The car was just on its way down to Taupo for this round this weekend.
Yeah.
And so Owen's rang up just to ask if we can quickly do the change. So we're putting the spare gearbox into it.
Yep.
So it gets less mileage. So practice sessions and that, you're on the spare gearbox. Put the good one back into it for actual race proper. So seeing we were on the way, he asked if we could quickly do it this morning. So quick simple job for the boys. And it's just a control 86, so they're a production race car, nothing too fancy into them. So this is running a complete standard Subaru / Toyota boxer motor into it, all controlled by Toyota. So all parts are factory genuine. All componentry from the racing perspective is from Toyota as control components, so there's nothing you can do to them to play with. If the engine needs any maintenance, you basically pull it out, buy a brand new one, stick it in, and that's it. You can't touch them, can't do anything.
The power is also limited as well for the class.
Correct, they've got a tune in them, so they all run the same ECU, same file, same equipment, as per factory. There's nothing to change on them too much on them.
Yeah. No.
So like I say, it is just a matter of precautionary maintenance on the car, so it is just a simple job of pull the good gearbox out of the car, put the spare gearbox back into it, and then that process will be repeated by the team when they're down the track on Friday night. They will swap it back over to the #1 gearbox again. It's
nice actually working on clean stuff going in rather than old 20-year-old greasy parts.
So we try to work on reasonably clean stuff, and if it's not clean, give it a clean before you work on it. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. So are these quite competitive as a vehicle, do you think? Or is it
in their category? Yeah, very competitive class. Obviously, you got 25 cars exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it is very much about the driver, the skill.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain things in the setup and wheel alignment and that on the cars, but you can't. They've all got the same power, so a lot of it's about driver skill, drafting, braking. You make a mistake in a corner and you'll be punished for it, basically, because there is no magic to it.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, bay number 2. What do we got going on? Oh, this is stripped down.
It is, yeah.
This is the lightweight version.
Yeah, so the customer's got a rally car as well. We're just building it up for him. Well, he's done a lot of work himself, so it's now come here.
Yeah.
Just finished off fab work of the exhaust manifold, circuit board Warner turbo, PDM installation, M-Tron ECU, and now we're going to wire all that up and get that done. So that's our main part.
So by the time it leaves here, it'll be a running machine.
Pretty much a running machine, yeah.
And we've got a V8 Supercar.
You've got probably one of the most serious super tourers in New Zealand. So this
wow.
is the ex-Owen Evans, or Simon Evans car. So obviously Simon's now driving the 86 this year.
Yeah.
But this is their championship winning car. So this used to run in the super tourer category. From there it's been quite substantially hot rodded. Brady will be here in a few minutes and we'll load in the trailer and send it to the track for the weekend. So Tony and Justin are there looking after the car, so we're doing track support for it as well.
Right.
So she's just had the...
These guys actually get noise limited? Or...
yeah, well, all tracks have got a noise limitation, so you've got to adhere to those rules for the track. So Pookie's one of the strictest ones that we run at, from a noise compliance point of view, or at least it used to be. So you've always got to bear that in mind. But also, noise doesn't always equal horsepower to a certain point.
And I take it this is for packaging,
This is the new Aero package that we tried last time Brady spun out down in Manfield, so we thought seeing the cars going backwards, maybe we'd reverse the Aero to help control it in a spin, but better.
Yeah. I guess that's packaging, isn't it, to get in the trailer?
Get in the trailer.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a big beast once you get the splitter on it, it goes incomplete.
I kind of don't realise actually how massive the wheels are on these things. That's a huge amount of sidewall.
It's a 13-inch rim on it with a big sidewall.
Yeah. But I guess, that with that much sidewall, that's part of the suspension package really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's to help it.
You've got a certain amount of compliance onto it, and also how it helps the car through a corner, or doesn't help it through a corner in certain situations.
Yeah. Alright, candidate number 4 I think we're up to.
TJ. This is TJ's new toy he's just bought. It's the ex-Dodson's Space Frame GTR. So this thing's been...
I've seen this many times.
Been a well-known car for most people that know a bit of history about it. So it is a bit of a monster. So
if you think your induction game is on point, maybe think again. This is pretty impressive.
Very, very set-back engine, space framed.
How far back is that? That's actually cylinder number 1 is behind the axle, isn't it?
It is.
Wow.
Change spark plugs, you've got access through the inside of the car to do half them.
I see, I see.
So it's basically we're just getting it ready to live again. So a bit of prep work, a bit of wiring changes, fuel system upgrades to it.
Yeah, can you show me what you guys are working on today in this one? If that's okay.
Yeah, we can do. So the car's obviously been a race car in the past, and specifically did endurance racing. So it's obviously had some issues at the track. So some of the stuff's been hot rodded, I guess. You know, there's a jumper wire on one of the fuses or relays to keep it alive. So obviously there's been some issues on it.
Yeah, well sometimes you just got to keep doing stuff to keep
racing. When something's had a failure at the track, you do what you've got to do to make it happen. So basically just going back through now that it's going back into racing life and fixing up all the little wee things that have been done to it. And let's say new lift pumps going into it because the car is running on the 85, so we're just going over the fuel system, tying up some of the wiring, getting everything working again on it, and we'll stick it on the dyno and give her a run up and see where she is and do any tweaks we need to.
Okay, I just spied this front suspension setup. This is
proper.
That is
2000, 1990s.
Wow. Looks like that should actually be on a truck. Well, it'd be cool to see this thing running.
Yeah, it'll be good to see Terry. Like he's racing GTR and Z for several years now, 7 odd years.
Yeah.
Big accident. He's had his own GTR that had been running, big high horsepower one, and had quite a big accident a year and a half ago down at Mansfield with it.
Right.
So that car's in the rebuild process, but along the way this deal came up for him, which was too good for Terry to.
Well, especially a Dodson's. At least you know it'll have a good clutch in it.
It's got all the good gear on it, good gearbox.
Yeah.
So,
and now something completely different.
For the last 4 days.
Yeah, it was in race car, and now it's
Then you got Dave's
street car.
So this one will convert it to EFI, so taking the old carburetor system out of it.
Oh. Bit of 21st century.
That's it. Got more modern drivetrain technology.
That is all the way down there. That's a lot of space.
A lot of room for activities.
So what EFI are you going for on this one?
This one's just running a Holly Sniper system into it.
And they'll do the whole stuff.
Looks like a carburetor, does the whole job. Yeah, technically they do self-learn and all that, so from a home enthusiast point of view, you can fit them up reasonably easily. But
I think from your perspective,
programming,
you'll probably actually put a tune in it yourself.
Correct. So we fit to the dyno, we go through and do a custom tune. So instead of just using the hand controller, plug it into the laptop and do what we call a proper tune, put a proper fuel map into it. We still allow some of the closed loop learning, but we lock it right down, so that way when there is a sense of failure or whatever, it won't wind itself into a knot trying to adjust.
Yeah.
You don't get the guy going, it's running really rich or it's using lots of gas, picked up O2 sensors, gone and added 20% extra fuel when it didn't need the 20% extra fuel. So locking a good fuel map, same as any tuning job, it's only as good as the main programming is done. We always do allow a little bit of closed loop, but you're only allowed to do a certain amount. So in road car, we've got a bigger, wider window to play with, so yeah. Give them their cruise fuel efficiency and
looks
good.
Responsive power. And now we've got another Skyline, but this one here I've noticed before isn't all-wheel drive.
No.
This is a rear-wheel drive.
It is.
What are you got going on here?
Right, so we've got several things going on. So we've just been doing fab work for exhaust system onto it, completed for the customer.
Yeah.
Grant's just finished that off yesterday.
And it's a motor out at the moment.
So we are about to do a set of rods, and it's been a customer's long-term project and long-term job. He's owned the car since mid-90s, early 90s, so he's had the car for a long time, so it's been his baby. And he's done everything to it from putting the GTR bodywork onto it, and that is genuine GTR bodywork, not just some fiberglass componentry into it.
So you're actually building the engine up?
Yeah, well the engine was always built about 6 or 7 years ago, so she's sitting out at the moment. When he did it, obviously budget constraints back then, and people, jobs and family come along the way, so you do certain things. So it's an RB30 block GTR head onto it. assembled with standard rods and components. So now we're upgrading the bottom end to take them to the next step and push the horsepower a bit safer for them.
Back, 20 years ago, did people actually know about how to fit the head on this, on the 30 block properly?
Yeah, doing that, properly. It's been around for a long time, so it's really more about GTRs easy to an RB30 because you don't have to worry about the oil passageways like you do on the 25 systems. Yeah,
right.
So yeah, quite an easy conversion in reality.
Gosh, when you set actually out of the engine bay, you realise how tall of an engine it actually is.
Big long road, especially with that 30 block deck output.
Yeah. You'd be very tempted at some point in your life to sell off your baby, but...
Yeah, I've done it myself over the years, and you do regret it, you start looking back at purchasing that similar sort of thing, and...
what was your first car?
My first real car that got me into it, I guess, was the early Mazda Familia Doc Turbo, so a BFMP 1600 front wheel drive. I guess that's where I learnt and did a lot of my stuff. Back then it was the 10th one in the country, so early technology. Everyone else had a Cortina or an Escort or Anglia or something like that, and I was the guy that jumped into a turbocharged twin cam thing and learnt along the way. A lot of the Polytech crews back then didn't even know how to test no 2 cents or do stuff like that. So.
And this thing is stripped down as well.
Yeah, so it's a long customer we've had for years. Well, he's taken a break from racing for about 8 years. He used to race in GTR NZ and GT2 and an Evo 3. Yeah. Decided to get back into it and enjoy some club sport racing with his friends and have another go. So it'd been built by the original owner as a race car. I should say cage installed to it. Yeah. So we're now taking it and putting a safer seat into it. So put a Racetech wing seat into it. So basically doing new seat mounts, redoing the wiring on the car, just basically bring it up to a better standard for the customer to make it a bit safer, more enjoyable to race in and a bit more competitive.
Actually, what class would this fit in now?
Well, it's probably going to run just in, say, like your Taupo Winter Series or, say, GTR NZ, so you may be running the GT3 class. There's several categories you can run it into, depending on what you want to do, but to me that's where you kind of fit.
It's got all the lightweight kind of things, like nice set of Enkies on the front.
So, it's got all the Enki wheels. It's got all the right, it's a good bone structured car, K24 engine into it, so yeah, nice, reliable, torquey package.
And the early 2000s bonnet as well.
That's it.
Vents are for life. Wow. This takes me back to high octane days, this does.
It's definitely got that look to it. We'll scoop at the back facing the wrong way to actually do anything, but it's got it. So over here we've got Dyno Bay. Today we'll work, this morning, nice simple little wee Chevron Lotus replica, carbureted twin style Lexus into it, so basically just a tune-up and a sort out for the customer.
So you guys have a Dyno Pack, four-wheel drive
hub dyno, so we've got the big pods there, so 5,000 Newton-meters per axle.
Really?
That's per axle. At the wheels torque number, so that's multiplied by whatever your diff ratio is. So if that car's making, say, 1,000 Newton meters at the motor, and you have a 5:1 diff ratio, then you're going to have 5,000 Newton meters at the axles onto it. So it's more what that torquing gear ratio of the vehicle is.
Have you had anyone max it out yet?
Had anyone max it out? So we had Stu McKay's GTR from down Christchurch. This has been the biggest one we've had hitting it out there. Yeah. Stu actually ran his car down at Christchurch with the drags for the first time into the 9.3 on his first pass as a street car.
Thank you very much, man. Well, I will catch you up, 4 weeks from today.
4 weeks from today.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what that date is actually.
Thursday, 4 weeks time.
Yeah. Alright man, catch you later, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
So that wraps up this month's video with Dave and DTech, and I'll be back in about 4 weeks time to check out the development on some of those vehicles they've got. Hopefully we'll see some of them when we come back. The silver Skyline will definitely be back here as well, and one or two of the others as well. So we'll see how they're progressing. In the meantime, go check out our next video and like, share, comment and subscribe. See ya.